I'm Nora Pierson. I'm 42 years old. I live in Woodstock, New York, and I have MS. MS can sometimes be referred to as an invisible illness. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that is to me and how that's affected my life. So often I hear people say, "Oh, you look so great," or "You don't look like you have MS." But I know how I feel. I know from day to day what I have to deal with, even if it isn't as apparent to the outside world. My symptoms started about 3 years ago, 2017. I was noticing I was having some trouble with my balance. I was coaching gymnastics at the time, and it becomes apparent when you're falling over in front of your class. I was having muscle weakness. I went from spotting back handsprings to having difficulty opening Tupperware. Having pain everywhere and fatigue, cognitive impairment. I was having trouble finding words and switching words around, or difficulty with my memory. Some things that I kind of chalked up to maybe old age, but I knew that something was off. Every person with MS is different and has different symptoms. These were some of the ones that I had at the beginning and still do to this day, among many others. Because it's an invisible illness and the symptoms are so elusive at times, it made getting a diagnosis very difficult. It was a 2-year process for me before I finally got an official diagnosis. Because I was an athlete and gymnast and dancer for much of my life, I didn't show many of the telltale signs that one often does with multiple sclerosis. So the doctors kind of told me maybe it was in my imagination, or perhaps I needed some more therapy. I had to advocate for myself. I had to go to specialist after specialist and request tests and schedule tests. It was a full-time job. I was unable to work due to my physical abilities. I stopped working in November of 2018. And I'm still not working to this day. Finally, it was the combination of an MRI and a spinal tap or lumbar puncture that gave me the definitive diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Having an invisible illness like MS sometimes feels a bit like a dance between masking my symptoms, pretending I don't have MS, and exaggerating them to prove that I do have MS. For example, I got my handicap placard and I was pretty excited. It can be exhausting and painful for me to go for a long walk from the parking lot to a store, for example. But I noticed as I got out of the car, once I had this placard, that I was exaggerating my limp, walking a bit slower, maybe having a bit of a grimacing look on my face, because I wanted to prove to people that I deserved to park there. That's one of the troubles with an invisible illness. It's not as obvious to people. On the flip side, there's times when I want to be a part of life and I want to socialize or go on a Zoom meeting or do something like this. And I have to mask and hide the physical pain, the discomfort, the fatigue, and try to act well. I notice if I'm sitting for a long period of time, I tend to be moving around a lot. You may have even noticed that. It's because I'm in pain and I need to move. Or even just preparing to do this video submission took a lot of work. I used to take for granted the fact that I could just throw on makeup, get showered, get dressed, and that was just a few minutes of my day leading up to an entire wealth of activities. Now I can only do so much, and I have to take breaks. Things that the outside world doesn't see. This also plays out in my social life. I often have to cancel plans because I just don't feel the energy, or I'm in so much pain that I can't go to an event. And eventually people stop inviting you. And if I do show up, and I look fabulous, they wonder, do I really have MS, or am I exaggerating the difficulties that I have? But having MS has also brought some invisible gifts. They aren't things that I can necessarily put on a resume, and that's why I call them invisible. But things like learning to slow down, how to be more present, how to enjoy solitude. I recently launched a Facebook page for myself to document my journey, both with MS, but also on becoming my authentic self. And that's something that MS has given me, a chance to really go within and discover who I am, and then share that with the world. When I got MS, along with all the slew of symptoms that I mentioned before, something that came that was positive was I started painting. I'd always been in the arts, but never the visual arts, and suddenly I had a passion to paint. Lately, I've been writing and meditating and diving into my soul, trying to find my purpose and learn what this universe is all about. I've been doing many creative endeavors, making video blogs, doing submissions like this, to making jewelry out of crystals that I have. I've also found new friendships. While some have, of course, ended, a lot of new ones have blossomed, and people have come out of the woodwork to help me, both emotionally as well as financially. People have donated animal food for my 5 pets, and it's been so wonderful to experience that, and so hard to ask for help, but a gift to learn how to receive. There's obviously days when I'm focused on the future, and I think about the fact that there's a chance, worst case scenario, that I could become paraplegic or anything between what I am now till then. There's also grief over the past, that I'm not the person that I was, that I can't do all the things I used to do. So I try being the key word, to stay present, to do everything I can to be in this moment, and to focus on the gifts, both visible and invisible, that MS has given me. Thank you. I'm Nora Pierson, and I have MS.